Okay.
Every summer, I always tell the counselors the same story on the first night of orientation, and I thought you might enjoy hearing it. And it's about a pregnant tigress that's starving to death. And she realizes that if she and her unborn cub do not eat soon, they're both going to die. So she goes out on the hunt. And as she goes out, she spots a herd of goats. And she attacks the goats and does so with such ferocity that it brings upon the birth of her cub and her death. Well, the goats scatter, but eventually come back and they see the dead mother, but they also see this helpless cub. And they talk among themselves and realize he has no chance of survival unless they raise him as one of their own. And so it comes to pass that he learns how to bleat, eat grass, mill around aimlessly. He learns goat stuff. And on his first birthday, he's out on the range with the rest of the goats when a 5-year-old male tiger in his prime comes cruising along. He spots the goats out of the corner of his eye and is about to attack them when he sees in the middle of them this full-grown, if not very bony-looking, tiger. He scratches his tiger head, scatters the goats, and goes up to the cub and says, "Hey, my friend, what's up?" To which the cub looks at him and says, "Bah." And he's taken aback and he says, "Wow, you've been hanging out with these goats because you think you're a goat. Look, tell you what, you look awful. You're really, really bony. I've got some antelope back at the cave. You and me, we'll go over there, get some meat on the bones, you'll feel great." But the cub looked at him and says, No, I eat grass. I'm a vegetarian. And the big guy says, No, you're a carnivore. You're a tiger, you're top of the food chain. Look, come with me to the watering hole. And so they go to the watering hole, which is glass still, like Lake LBJ at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he says, look into the water. Look at my face. And they look at the reflection. It says, look at the stripes, the whiskers, the ears, the piercing gaze. That, my friend, is the face of a tiger. Now look at yours. It looks just like mine. But having spent his entire conscious life thinking he's a goat, the young guy still doesn't get it. So in frustration, the big guy grabs the little guy by the scruff of the neck and drags him back to his cave. He sets him down, he tears some of the antelope off and puts it into his mouth. And the cub eats it. And initially he chokes. And the original Sanskrit text comments that the cub choked, as do we all, on the truth. But then he swallows it, and his body gets it. This is the protein he's been denying himself. And he has a revelation. He squares his forepaws, arches his back, and lets out his first tiger roar. At this point, I smile and look at the counselors and say, I've shared this story with you for 2 reasons. The first is that in this life, every one of us is born a tiger with a unique, singular confluence of talents, gifts, skills, goals, fears, thoughts. And we are a force of nature. But the sad part is that many of us will live our life like goats. Advertisers love goats. It's easier to sell Dander shampoo or cars to a goat than to a tiger. The second reason I share it with the counselors is it often takes another tiger to help you find your tigerness. And in 2 weeks, my wonderful counselors, you'll be surrounded by 10, 11, 12 of the cutest cubs you've ever seen. But they don't know yet. They don't know that they're tigers. But you can't tell them. You just have to, every single day, act like a tiger. See opportunity where other people see problems. Be optimistic. Find the joy and excitement in every moment. And I'm convinced if every camper sees enough counselor tigers, they will know that there's a tiger in themselves as well. So ultimately, when some people ask, when we talk about our goal is to have every camper become the champion they're meant to be, I sometimes tell them that story and say, I want every camper to become the tiger he or she is meant to be.
That's really good.